alive once more on a Sunday.
It's
October
alive.
25th. Hey, what are you wearing?
What am I wearing?
Yeah.
What? This is how I always dress, Diana.
Okay, it's very nice. You're very orange today, like someone else we know. Ooh.
Who are you talking about, Diana? I have no
Anyway,
clue.
time to start the show. Snarky Sisters Songwriter Spotlight. It's the Sunday Songwriter Spotlight with Snarky Sisters, live at noon.
Well, 12:31.
Right here on our Facebook page. With our friends we will commune, because we're communists. Our guest today isn't basic. It's the uncommonly good Justin Trawick.
That's a terrible rhyme, Diana.
That's great.
Hi.
It's another Sunday. For brunchy drinks we're lustin'. Oh, what do you got, Diana? Oh wait,
This
actually,
is-
I gotta say mine first.
Okay.
I have a candy corn communist.
All right. What's that on the bottom?
What do you think? It's a candy corn communist.
It's layered jello, I know. It looks like a tequila sunrise, like dead. What are those things floating in the bottom?
It's candy corn.
Lenin's teeth?
Lenny's teeth.
Okay.
So
That's
what
the
you-
name of the drink.
We haven't even gotten to what your drink is.
Oh, I'm drinking a Bloody Rustin.
Lustin'. And we're both looking forward to talking to our friend, Justin. Cheers! Woo! Yeah!
Woo!
Hello, Justin Trawick. We're so happy to have you here.
That was the best intro I've ever had.
Everyone tells us that, just
I
saying.
will always remember this day. This day will be burned into my memory forever. Thank you very much, Lisa and Diana. It's very nice of you.
Oh, the most important pressing question of the day for these
Yes.
times we do need to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Candy corn, yes?
Oh yeah,
Yes?
I'm pro candy corn. Absolutely. What monster doesn't like candy corn?
Diana Corn is that monster.
I hear
See,
someone
Diana?
groaning from the back in Justin's house.
Lauren just yelled gross from the other room. So
Exactly.
Apparently we are split here in the Trawick household.
I hope you're not
Actually-
voting that way, split.
No,
You know,
no,
if
we're
this
not.
stuff was found, like 2,000 years by aliens, I bet you it would look just like this.
Yeah, no, it's probably like the Twinkie. I mean, I think that it probably can last the nuclear war for sure. But I think candy corn, though, I do have to say, maybe there's a split thing. Candy corn is great. Like the first 30 or 40 are great, and once you get to 31 or 41, it really becomes you can't have that anymore.
Okay, what about orange peanuts?
I draw the line at orange peanuts. I have stared at them in a bag, and they're always in the weird, like they're orange peanuts in a weird see-through orange bag. Like they need to have better product, marketing, better
I know,
labeling.
it's like from 1930 or
No.
something,
No,
Yeah.
that's just to prove that they last forever, which they do.
Yes, they
no,
do.
Wait, no, are you pro orange peanuts or whatever?
Yeah, circus peanuts.
So tell
Yeah,
us about your childhood. Who hurt you?
everyone. Scary clowns especially.
Good. Excellent.
Oh,
Thank you.
I didn't bring my clown today. It's upstairs. Oh, well.
You are a
Bad.
clown?
Sad.
I have a happy little clown. I call it Cirque de Paris.
Oh, all right. That seems perfectly normal.
Yeah. Well, very quickly, when I was a child, I was in a musical called Carnival.
Okay.
And it was one of my first professional shows I was ever in.
Carnival of Souls.
No, it was Carnival. And I
dark.
got to juggle and sit on a unicyclist's shoulders while he was juggling. And we juggled together, and he would lean me over to juggle over the crowd. And most of the times I dropped all of the balls on their heads.
Can you still juggle?
I can still juggle.
Now, can you juggle, like, I can juggle 3, and I can do, like a wheel with 2.
Yep.
I have never been able to figure out 4. I've never been able to figure out where you throw the 4th in to get it going.
That I can't do, but I can juggle, like, if you were like right now, if we get virtual
Right.
juggling, I can
Virtually
juggle with a
juggling back
partner.
and forth.
Do it with the corn, Lisa.
Oh, this is what I'm going to do for the trick-or-treaters. Trick or treat. She
That's
made me
nice.
do it. You
That's
made me
nice. I think you should.
You're going to be hauled off to some black site somewhere if you do that. That's not going to work.
She's going to be taken to the border, and we're never going to see her again.
No.
Well, without further ado, I have to get serious here, Diana.
Serious moment.
Yeah, serious moment. Justin Trawick, again, thank you. Justin's been performing in the Washington, D.C. area and along the East Coast since 2006, starting musical influences like Bob Schneider, Green Sky Bluegrass. What was that, Spirit?
Spirit's talking again. Sorry.
A spirit is her parrot.
I feel like you have like a moral support parrot. Your parrot is just kind of like helps you in life and says nice things. It's very much a yes man kind of parrot or yes woman kind of parrot. Is that the parrot that you have, or is it different?
No, this is my brother's parrot I brought back from Seattle, and I promised I would take care of this parrot, and it farts and burps all the time, and it says, "What is your problem?" Constantly. So no, it's not a support animal.
But Justin has a great idea. Diana, you can totally travel with this bird.
Yeah.
On the airplane, say it's your emotional support parrot.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
ESP.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you could dress like a pirate, You could get yourself an eye patch and like a cool hat. It would be really great.
That's a good idea. Thank you for that, Justin.
For sure. I'm going to start the writing letters right now to my congressman to see if we can make that work.
Well, I'm going to back up and be serious again. In June of 2015, Trawick released his first single, Goodbye. I love that song, by the way.
Thank you.
Under the band name Justin Trawick and the Common Good, which is an uncommonly good band. Written about the search for direction and belonging in a world and constantly feels one step ahead of you. Trawick has performed for TEDx East in New York City, the City Winery, very cool, and other places. I'm going to skip down to Trawick won Song of the Year at the Washington Area Music Awards. Yay, whammies!
Yay.
For his song All the Places That I've Been, which is an amazing song for somebody quite young. It can be downloaded on iTunes and probably anywhere. I'm sure you've got tons of other places to get that as well. Sure. He's the founder of the nationally touring show, the 9 Songwriter Series, and co-founder of the Circus Life podcast, with guests such as Kevin Eubanks, Chris Thomas King, Ernie Halter Yarn, and Snuffy Walden. Trawick has built a brand that extends far beyond his home base in D.C. That's very true. Go to justintrawick.com to see more about Justin. So, without further ado, Justin, since we were talking about Halloween and all the dark things, maybe you could sing something bright for us.
Sure. I wrote a song a few years ago called "The Bright Side," and are you ladies familiar with an actor named Ed Asner?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
I've always loved Ed Asner, and I kind of loosely wrote this song with Ed Asner in mind, loosely about him, with sitting at a bar. He always, to me, kind of seemed like the kind of the best person in my mind to be like an older gentleman, an older person, giving advice to younger people who need it, people who hadn't been around, who hadn't experienced life as much, and this gentleman in this song is sitting at a bar, and 3 different groups of people throughout the course of the song come in and need help with something going on in their life. And smash cut, I wrote this song like 5 or 6 years ago, but smash cut to about 8 months ago, and my girlfriend and our friend Guy, he's from Arlington, here where I live, but he lives in Nuremberg, Germany. They were actually able to somehow get him to send me a 1-minute video, which you can see on my Twitter and Facebook and stuff, of him saying, "Justin, I heard The Bright Side. I love it. Thanks so much for writing a song about me." And it meant so much. So this song's called "The Bright Side." Here you go. Tell me your name, talk to me slow, and I've got all the time in the world. Where have you been? Where did you go? No, I don't think I've seen that girl. You're running away, you're leaving this town. Could I get you a drink or two? What did you say? What did you do? Did he really want to marry you? Just look on the bright side. Just look on the bright side. Just look on the bright side. Not the right side, not the wrong side, just the bright side. And I heard you were broke, so come and sit down. We could all use a friend or two. What did you say? How did it go? Why did you end so very soon? I ordered some food, so eat what you want. Tell me the things you meant to say. And I like the first part, at least what you meant. And I think I just worded differently. Just look on the bright side. Just look on the bright side. Just look on the bright side. Not the right side, not the wrong side, just the bright side. We all got something that we don't see coming. We've all been running when we started out walking. We've all got time, but time's not standing still. The days seem long till the days get shorter. The lights seem bright till the lights get darker. And you hold your head up high and say, well, just try harder. Now I heard that you won, and I think that that's great. What do you do with the money you made? Invest in some stocks or learn a new trade. Not play you pool, but you buy the first game. You came out ahead, so how about your friends? Money we lose, but friends to the end. Tell me the time, I'll think that I'll go. It was nice to meet you all. Just look on the bright side. Just look on the bright side. Just look on the bright side. Not the right side, not the wrong side, just the bright side. 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 Just the bright side.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you. That's I really like that song, and that's that song is on my my band's first EP, Justin Trawick and the Common Good, called the River Wash EP, which came out a couple years ago.
Do you know a musician named Andrew Jahone?
And who was his name?
Andrew Jahone down in Louisiana.
No, I don't.
You should check him out. When I first heard you, that's the first person that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent musician. Also, there was another person. There's a little bit of humor that I see when you sing. It reminds me of Todd Snyder a little bit.
Yeah, Todd Snyder, and then there's another guy that you mentioned in my bio, Bob Schneider, which is similarly named. All those guys, there's another gentleman named Steve Poltz. I don't know if you've heard of him. All these people have kind of comedy or lightheartedness interwoven into a lot of their songs, and even interwoven into their banter. I have a lot of people that I call my hurry up and play your songs. I want to hear you talk more people. And I've been a fan of that kind of performance for a long time, and so I've attempted to, in some degree, to bring that into my live shows, not only in the songs but in the things you say between the songs.
And the way that you address your audience, you really are addressing us all directly. You're speaking right to me, and you're speaking right to Lisa, and that's a really good trait to have.
I appreciate that. That did not come naturally. That's like 12 years into doing this. You know what I mean? Like I've I'm I always am envious of the people that seem to just be amazing from the get go. Um, that was not me. I was nervous on stage. I didn't look people in the eye. There was a period I definitely wore sunglasses on stage. I don't ever suggest wearing sunglasses on stage.
You can
I,
hurt yourself that way.
yeah, absolutely. But I appreciate what you're saying. I think I definitely have worked hard on that for sure.
Well, what made you do it then? If you were shy and not comfortable, I mean, a lot of people are when they start. But what made you keep going and become a professional?
Um, well, because I always loved playing. When I was a kid, when I was 13 years old, the summer before ninth grade, I discovered my father's guitar in our pre-Civil War house just outside of Leesburg, between Leesburg and Purcellville, Virginia.
Oh, wow.
And I had already been playing piano, and I'd already been playing saxophone, and I even recently in the last year, I was thinking that before I even had discovered guitar, I was already writing songs because I was making up little licks on the piano, kind of like Lisa Simpson, you know. But I don't think I really knew what I was doing. I don't think that I really understood that I was writing a song. But I discovered a guitar under the steps of the second floor staircase, and because my house, I'd always been very superstitious about the things in our house. Um, there was an old 1800s, early 1800s cemetery across the street from where I grew up, and there was an entire abandoned town in our woods. There was one building that was still standing that on the second floor had it was knee deep full of cow bones from when it had been used as a haunted house, which kind of goes in line, Lisa, with your dress today and Halloween coming up soon. But I discovered that guitar, and songwriting to me came fairly naturally, and performing, I suppose, came naturally, but not necessarily kind of like what you're saying, Diana, in regards to getting over stage fright. Performing your songs and being a performer are two different things. Being an entertainer are two different things. There's lots of really great people who are great songwriters and great singers, but they're not necessarily, you've probably seen them before live. There's some of your favorite musicians. They hardly talk. And in my opinion, if they hardly talk, they better be really good. And usually they are. But not to be like self-deprecating or anything, but I don't particularly think that I'm any kind of super amazing songwriter. I think I'm entertaining. I try to be entertaining between songs because I'm trying to bring like a more full package to what I can bring to the table or bring to the stage, and I think that people appreciate that. Again, if you go see like this guy Bob Schneider again, a lot of people go to his shows, or Steve Poltz or something, again, not because of the songs. They go because of the whole experience, and that's what I try to do, I think, with what I'm
Oh, yeah.
and that's actually what Facebook Live has really helped us. Believe me, if we could go back and make COVID go away, I would. But I think that being forced to go to Facebook Live and do these streaming shows like Lisa and Diana, like you guys are doing, I think that this was really amazing for me as an artist, because this somehow bridged the gap between putting out records and playing live. People around the country could not see me live because I'm primarily a mid-Atlantic artist and based here in DC. So people elsewhere in the country only knew me as a performer from recorded CDs, and which didn't give my personality. You know what I mean? And so doing these Facebook Live shows really, really helped, because suddenly people could actually see and hear my personality, hear us between the songs, and we've made more fans in the last 8 months than we've made in the last 12 years because of that.
Well, that's good. Oh, Diana, you're muted.
Tell us what you've been doing. I guess you were a touring musician full time before COVID hit, and now how did you make up for it? Because you're doing relatively well. I think a lot of our viewers would like to know, what's your magic secret?
Well, all right. So she's not in in Halloween clothes, but Lauren's gonna come sit. Come over here. All right. So how are we gonna do this?
Hi.
All right. So guys, this is Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
On the bottom of the screen, and what did you call this? The black and red checkered?
That's buffalo check.
Buffalo check.
Mm-hmm.
That's Diana. And up here in the orange,
That's striped. That's not buffalo check.
it's striped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then she's just dressed as like a Harry Potter kind of person. And then we also have Lisa up here. And so their question was, what did we do early on and to make us successful in what we were doing? Do you want to answer that immediately, or you want me to answer that and you can piggyback off of that? Because I'm bringing Lauren in because Lauren was very instrumental in making this all work.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we ever had the goal actually of being successful, like being on CNN and Reuters and the Washington Post and all that stuff. I don't think we ever had that as a goal or even remotely close to the vision. I think it was just a matter of like, how do we make this work? How do we be different? Because a lot of people were screaming. We
went into survival mode.
Yeah, big time.
And we also treated, on March 12th, when we did our very first Facebook Live show, I had remembered that I had previously done it like 2 years earlier. And when I was supposed to play in New York at Rockwood Music Hall, we had a blizzard. We couldn't go. So Lauren and I did a Facebook Live from her tiny 350 square foot apartment.
No, that one was 632.
632 square foot apartment in D.C. And I remember we had a good time. So when we did that Facebook Live that evening, we just had a great time. And very early on, I think a large part of our success, and very similar to what you ladies are doing, is we treated our show like a TV show, like a variety show, versus what you've probably seen a lot of our peers doing, which is just trying to recreate a bar gig on Facebook Live. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think people don't have the attention span on online like they do in real life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were doing songs, but we were also keeping it light. We were playing songs we would never play that were silly, but we were also talking about our lives and being funny and engaging with the people. Like what we're doing via Zoom right now, you probably can do it where you're operating your own Facebook from your phones and your computers, but like we can't see people commenting because of our interview with you. But normally what we would be doing is, as people were commenting, we would just stop talking or we'd stop playing and immediately answer the comment. So it might take us 8 minutes to get through a 3.5 minute song because we were constantly stopping to answer people questions. But I think that all those things really caused us to have a much larger engagement than we ever did.
Yeah.
And for example, when the pandemic started, I had 7,000 Facebook friends, and now I have 13,000.
Wow.
And that's just because of people being attracted to what we were doing from the get-go.
And you're really good at talking to people.
And you've asked 2 questions, and I've been talking for 25 minutes.
What I will add is that, so what I do professionally is basically using whatever expertise, experience, skill set you have and coming up with a solution to build a new plan or a new pivot into a new direction. And I think rather than shy away from Justin's propensity to talk a lot and shiny object syndrome, we decided to double down on it. It's like, we're going to be distracted anyway, so we're going to bring you into the show and make you part of our distraction and have you bought into the community.
We've been doing these backyard shows recently, but for a long time we could only do the Facebook Live shows. And it became a joke that Lauren was landing the plane whenever
Not a joke. Real life.
Well, I would go on this like 5 to 20 minute, tangents about something that didn't make sense at all, and Lauren would have to figure out how to land the plane and give it back to the topic at hand. So smash cut to like a month or 2 or 3 months later when we started doing these backyard shows, and people started showing up with paper airplanes and throwing them at the stage so that I could, as a proverbial, land the plane, or not even proverbial, literal,
like
land
actually
the plane.
do it. Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, God, you're still muted.
You're muted, Diana.
Justin, I know this is my first time doing this. Justin, it's been almost a half an hour. Let's have you play another song.
Welcome to my world.
But when this song is done, I want to ask about your songwriting process.
Let's have the song first.
I know, I do. I just want them to know. And
Come on, a song.
Oh, okay.
Let's have a song.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna shut up.
Chippy hot sauce, salad to the sauce. I gotta hand it to them, never right on the first try. They got those big dreams swinging from the roof beams. I'll tell you all about it when I show up in my hoopty. I never told you where I think I'm really going, cause I never had a reason yet to show you my hand. But check it, now or never, baby, baby, now or never, baby. Come on closer, man, to give you my plan. Goddamn, look at my life, spinning on the corner of a 5 and dime. Looking over my shoulder, living every day like it's my last. Oh hell, how do I tell friend or foe when you just don't know? Now I hope I'll make it through the day, but for now I'll just sip for today. Oh, 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 da 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 da. Oh, 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 da 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 da. Oh, 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 da 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 da. What? Oh, dominoes are falling, fate is calling. I got about a full of Hennessy, now you're starving, darling. We got a fire sale, everything must go quick. Got the door already set, go! Running away from me, stopping like a centipede. Gotta make room for the fresh new approved me. And every day is a gift that you throw away. Like I buy another man treasure on a rainy day. Goddamn, look at my life, standing on the corner of a 5 and dime. Looking over my shoulder, living every day like it's my last. Oh hell, why do I tell friend or foe when you just don't know? I hope I'll make it through the day, but for now I'll just sit for. Warren, you ready? 1, 2, 3, come on.
Some got hopes and dreams, we got ways and means. The supreme dream team, always up with the scheme. But up camps selling raps, name your theme. I rise to the top, floating on the screen. Who the hell wanna see me? I hated those that doubt me. A million refugees with unlimited warranties. Black Caesar, a dating top teaser. Diplomatic legalese, no time for a visa. It just begun. I'm the shooter one by one. Got 5 sesame, something like a pentagon. Strike with the forces of King Solomon. Letting bygones be bygones and so on and so on. I'ma teach these cats how to live in the ghetto. Keeping it retro, expect it from the get-go. But Halo, let my mind shine like the halo. Who the hell wanna see me from DK to Cali?
Goddamn, look at my life, standing on the corner of a 5 and dime. Looking over my shoulder, living every day like it's my last. Oh hell, how do I tell friend or foe when you just don't know? I hope I'll make it through the day, but for now I'll just sit for today. Thank you very much. That song was called 5 and Dime.
That was a great song. James Weichert says hello, and he says that Lauren is the secret sauce.
That's
so
probably
secret.
true. Hi to James.
Hi,
James is awesome. James. So we know James because James was our bouncer at the very last time that we played at Whitlow's in Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
We played at Whitlow's in Arlington, I think in either it was January or February, and he was our personal band bouncer. He was the person that was keeping the riffraff off the stage, and riffraff needed to be kept off the stage.
Yeah.
What?
20-year-old drunk girls, I mean over 21.
Yeah.
They are rowdy.
Women were trying to get on the stage. So he manhandled them, and that's how we know him. And he's come to a lot of our backyard shows, and we've befriended him online, and he's a great guy. So hi to James.
Okay, so but without further ado, why don't we go into another song, and then we'll chit chat a little bit more about some of the songwriting process stuff. Because Diane will be like, Lisa, why didn't you let them sing more?
We're doubling down on songs now.
Talk too much. That's what this signals.
Talk too much. All right,
no, we talk too much.
This song is called "That Old Forgotten Street." The darkness has come down on this forgotten street, and the stars shine brightly down as rain falls underneath, and attitudes burn swiftly like cigarettes in wrinkled hands, and there's a calm before the storm rising all throughout the land, and there's a calm before the storm rising all throughout the land. you've ever met before. Maybe not the names, but the faces you'll always store inside your head. You like to think that you're a kind of gentleman, and you like to think that everything will go as planned. But where do you go? What do you do? What do you say when you get there, and how do you know? How can you tell when you find what you're looking for? Or when you find what you're looking for? And every night you dream about a little house with a picket fence, and a couple of kids and a better half who reminds you when you forget to take your lunch to work, but you've gone berserk and you begin to think this will never work, and the darkness comes on down that forgotten street once again. Where do you go? What do you do? What do you say when you get there, and how do you know? How can you tell when you find what you're looking for? Where do you go? What do you do? What do you say when you get there, and how do you know? How can you tell when you find what you're looking for? Yeah, take a look inside yourself, realize that we're not that different. Yeah, take a look inside yourself and realize that we're all the same. We're all trying to make the best of a very bad situation. We're all trying to make the best of what we've got today. You watch as the most important person packs up and drives away. Not a permanent decision, but for a while you'll have to say, if you can do this, you can do anything. And if you can do this, you can do everything. And you won't let that old forgotten street get the best of you today. But where do you go? What do you do? What do you say when you get there, and how do you know? How can you tell when you find what you're looking for? Where do you go? What do you do? What do you say when you get there, and how do you know? How can you tell when you find what you're looking for? Yeah, take a look inside yourself and realize that we're not that different. Yeah, take a look inside yourself and realize that we're all the same. We're all trying to make the best of a very bad situation. We're all trying to make the best of what we've got today. Thank you. That song is called That Old Forgotten Street. I wrote that song when I moved to Arlington back in 2006 or so. I think I have the wrong...
No, they pop out when you smile.
When I
you
smile?
talk. Yeah. I have trouble because I smile when I talk.
I wrote that song in 2006 when I moved to Arlington. It was partially about my first roommate experience and how it did not go well. It's a song. I don't know about you guys. I know that you guys are songwriters. But it's a song of mine that I had actually kind of not forgotten about, but kind of slowed playing until the last couple months. And several people that watch us on Facebook Live have really enjoyed it, and so I've had a resurgence, revival of interest for myself and other people with that song. So I started playing it more again.
Well, it sounds like a song that a lot of us need to hear right now.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of sunshine, and a little bit of optimism.
Right.
So Lisa was wanting to know what your process is, and I'm always interested too. Do you have a way that you write songs? Do you write titles on scraps of paper? Do you write the music first? Do you write the lyrics first? Does everything come together in a dream or a nightmare? How does that work for you?
Well, first of all, I was just telling somebody a couple days ago. I was just telling my upright bass player, Mike, who I do Facebook Live with as well on Thursdays, and when I was a kid, I had just stacks of composition notebooks. The composition notebooks you would use for school, and with come about 2008 when I got my first iPhone was the last time I ever wrote in a composition notebook, and I'm not sure that I always wonder if I think I wrote more in the composition notebooks than I do on the phone. But the phone has obviously been incredible for keeping it all in one place uh, and a bunch of other things. My process is, I don't know if I particularly have a process. For me, writing songs came when I was 13 years old and I discovered my dad's guitar. Writing songs to me was like a version of diarying, journaling, keeping a diary. And uh, I think writing songs for me was helping keep me out of trouble. And, it was helping me. I was an only child and I lived in the country and my closest neighbors were chickens and cows. And writing songs for me was a way to keep me occupied and imaginative. A lot of the songs that I wrote when I was a kid were not about me. Some of them were. But I wrote a song when I was 16 on a school bus going to guitar camp in the summer called Someone, about a guy who was 82 who was in bed wishing he had done more things with his life. And I remember playing that for my parents the first time at a party with a couple of their friends. They were bragging to their friends about how their son writes songs. And I played this super depressing song about this old guy wishing he had done more with his life. And they're like, "Oh my God, we can't believe that we just had you play this for our friends."
Smash
We
cut
made
wow.
we made an appointment with you with the therapist for you, Justin. But Justin, tell everyone about how you discovered your father's guitar, because you didn't play guitar. You didn't pick up a guitar until you were like 13, right?
Did you Google this story?
I came across it. I don't think I
Which
Googled
version
it.
did you come
I
across?
stumbled across it. I the X-rated one, or R-rated one. It's not
It's
really
like
X.
PG-13.
I think you made a mistake in that, throwing something away. But tell us about it.
Go ahead. I'm at
It's
your
funny.
platform.
I've thrown my father under the bus multiple times with this story, and I try to tell it less for him, but I get it. Like I was saying earlier at the beginning of our discussion, I was very superstitious about a lot of things in our home, and the closet underneath the staircase going to the second floor of our pre-Civil War house, and we had lots of things to be scared about, and I did anyway. And the closet to me was kind of reminiscent to like the wardrobe and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It was full of jackets and it was dusty and it was just packed full of things, and it always kind of like and it was deep. It was super deep. It was the entire underneath part of the staircase, and I had never explored it because it just seemed creepy to me. But I was bored enough and old enough as a 13-year-old to go in there one day, and I found a guitar case that had been untouched for like 20 years. It was I still own it. It's at my parents' place in storage now, and it was a classical guitar case. I didn't even open it yet, and it was beat up and it was kind of caved in a couple places. And I took it with my mother out to the wraparound porch that we have at our house, old like style wraparound porch, and with my mother looking over my shoulder, I opened up the case and there was the guitar. And again, he hadn't touched it for 20 years. Every string was broken, and I took it out and I looked at it. It was a no-name classical guitar. It was probably pretty inexpensive at the time. And I took it out, and there was a little compartment in every case. You guys know this. There's a compartment that you open up and you put things like strings and picks and stuff. And again, my mother's looking over my shoulder, and I open up this compartment and I pull out a pair of women's black satin underwear that my father had somehow achieved in college, used for a rag for his guitar, and then proceeded to turn it into a 20-year time capsule, only to be rediscovered later, by his 13-year-old son, who was fairly, innocent.
And now his 38-year-old son, who now retells the story.
Yeah, a lot. My dad is now a retired businessman, but he was a pretty well-known businessman in Leesburg. And the Loudoun Times Mirror, which is our local newspaper, did a story on me a few years ago, and I told this story, and everyone suddenly knew this story about my dad, which was mortifying and hilarious for him all at the same time. You know.
Well, I don't think. Well, what did you do with it though?
Yeah, did anybody claim the underwear?
What did I do with the underwear?
Yeah, where's the underwear?
I know for I don't know for a fact. But I'm fair. I would say 99.9% possible that my mom kept it until my dad got home, gave my dad an earful when he got home, and then probably threw it away, burnt it, something like not burnt it, threw it away.
Yeah, satin doesn't burn well.
I'm sure that my mom was beyond livid with my dad, but in secret. I think that she was just as interested to find that guitar too. I do remember later that evening, my dad was like, Justin, so if you ever find anything again, please just like tell me before you tell your mom, you know.
So he was deliberately trying to hide it there.
Hide it there?
He'd
No,
forgotten
I think he
it.
totally forgot about it, and then he put his guitar away.
You mean
know?
you don't put your underwear in guitar cases?
I do.
No, I mean
Personally, but
the guitar case itself.
works like a dehumidifier.
Why was it there?
Right?
It's like where you put your cigars.
Your fancy ones.
Well, I'm sorry that you threw it away because there might have been something, he should have told your mother that was his Halloween costume.
But
over
no,
there, and he
no,
forgot.
back up. Wait. So why was the guitar case under there to begin with? Why was it there?
Just storage. It was just they had moved there. I was born in 1982. They moved there in 1980. They probably put it under when they moved there and then proceeded to forget about it. Like I said, it's when I was 13. I was 1996. So not 20 years. Well, I don't know. 20 years since. Yeah,
probably older than
probably
that.
more than 20 years since he had last gone through it. Yeah.
Wow. What
guitar are you playing now? Just interested.
I have a bunch of guitars, but this is a Martin 0015 all mahogany guitar.
Lovely.
I bought this. Lauren and them like to say this not lacquered thing. This guitar does not really have like any kind of thick finish on it, so it's extremely easy to ding and scratch. And I've had a couple moments where other people and myself have dinged this and scratched, and I have one sad moment where I think I yelled to my bass player, "It's not lacquered," or it's not even lacquered is probably the right term. It's not finished. And now they just always tell me that whenever I describe this guitar. But I love this guitar. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure that you have a lot of instruments too. This is the first guitar that I ever purchased where I spent a lot of time searching for an instrument that sounded good versus looking good. I have a lot of guitars that I have that I own that I bought because it looks cool, and Lauren remembers she remembers probably to her dismay me putting the amount of research. Because Lauren likes to think that, like, Justin, if you put the amount of research into your taxes as you do into buying your golf discs or your guitars, you'd probably be a lot more organized. And that's true. But like I take things and I go all in with them, and I went all in with finding a guitar that really fit me and fit my style. And I love this guitar. It's really, really great. So it's I've only had it for, what do you think, 2 years? 3 years? No more than 3 years. Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
why don't you sing another song then?
Okay, I'll sing another song. This song is called All the Places That I've Been.
Oh yeah, I was gonna request that one.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna scoot out. You sing it.
What, you're leaving, Lauren?
She might. They're saying, "What? You're leaving?"
I'll be back.
She'll come back in a few minutes
Okay.
and do another song with me. And I feel my mind is failing, and I think my skin is growing thin. And I wonder if I'll remember all those places I've been. And I ain't walked tall in ages, and my back just don't bend that way. And my hair was once receding, but now it's all gone away. was born in Oklahoma on a farm outside of town, and I spent my days out wandering in the fields behind our house. And I wondered what was out there beyond the fences of our home. And I left town for the army when I turned 18 years old. And I remember what it felt like as I raced onto the shore, the cool breeze and the salt air, June 6th, 1944, and I watched my friends get mowed down by the Mausers on the hill. And I don't know how I made it, but I thank God that I did. And I found myself near D.C. when the war was finally done. And I got myself a family and a wife and 3 young little ones. And I ran for public office, becoming mayor of my town. And my parents stood right by me, and my wife said she was proud. We lived through the Truman Doctrine as Jackie took the field, and the Rosenbergs were sentenced, and segregation was repealed. And Rosa sat in silence, and Elvis sang a song. And the Cuban Missile Crisis marked the final days of John. And the Beatles crossed the ocean, and Dr. King was shot and killed. Oh, Nixon left his office, oh, as the radio star was killed. And the Challenger exploded on Oklahoma cried. 13 people died by 2 troubled kids. And Columbine, New York City's finest and bravest of them all, climbed the city's towers minutes before they fall. And I remember what it felt like as my family stood and stared, because my son was of the bravest, with those heroes climbing stairs. So I feel my mind is failing, and I think my skin is growing thin. And I wonder if I'll remember all those places I have been. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that's not a very optimistic, happy song.
Did you make them cry?
I don't know. Did I make
You
Diana
did.
cry?
Yeah.
Well,
Justin.
I didn't mean it. I don't mean for it to be a sad song. It's a song about real life. It's a song about that song was inspired by my my grandmother. My grandmother, her name is Lenore. She was born in 1919 in Quitman, Arkansas. When she was born, the horse and buggy still existed. The car was just coming around. Her father, who had not had more than a middle school education, had named my grandmother Lenore from the Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Raven from the Angel Lenore. And she was just a really, really great role model for me. She had lived all over the country. She married her high school sweetheart. One of the things that he had said to her in the high school after he graduated was like, listen, if you and I don't get married, I'm going to college. If you and I don't get married, I don't think you might never leave this town. How about we get married? And, and they got married and they lived all over the United States. And she had wonderful experiences and was just the quintessential greatest generation person, the World War II generation. And I was her only grandchild and she was my only grandparent, and we were very close. And I wrote this song to honor her. It's not about her. It's not about anyone in my family, but it's about a fictional person going through real history. And I've always been very happy to get, I apologize for you crying, Diana, but I've always been very happy to get people to have a reaction during that song. Largely due to the fact that I think that a lot of those people that I'm writing about are getting older and eventually won't be around. And I like the fact that I think I'm hopefully in my own way memorializing them to some degree,
Yeah. What do you think your grandmother would think about today, about all the things that we're going through right now?
Oh, my grandmother would be very politically in tune. My grandmother, I mean, I don't know how into politics you want to get, but she would I mean, she was born in 1919, so she wouldn't remember the pandemic, but she was born during it. And she lost a lot of, I do know that she lost a lot of brothers and sisters around that time. Um, she would be as radicalized as probably I am or a lot of people are, and both politically and the the coronavirus and stuff like that. When I was a kid, and I think probably high school, I just remember her always reading the Washington Post, always being up on everything. I was always surprised. She was from Arkansas, but she was very liberal, very Democrat. She loved the Clintons. I don't know. I have a lot of fond memories of my grandmother. She died 2 years ago,
Oh,
and we
sorry.
pass her grave fairly often.
We did yesterday.
We passed her. There's a place that we've been playing pretty regularly during this pandemic, where we've been doing a lot of our secret backyard shows, and we pass her grave all the time, and I think about her every time.
So, you're talking about coronavirus. What about gigging in the age of coronavirus? Do you have any ideas or
What would she have
thoughts?
thought of? Would she have watched us on Facebook Live? Do you think?
She wouldn't have had my grandma. Yeah, she would have. She would have watched us on Facebook Live. So gigging in the during the coronavirus has been. I remember Lauren and I were doing Facebook Live, and I remember at one point, probably it was early, so it was probably April or maybe early May, and I remember going, Lauren, when this is all over, we should take our little show that we're doing and do it
At a venue.
at a venue, because I think we all thought that this was not going to go nearly as long as it is. And at some point, I think probably during our live performance, we had the idea of doing it in a backyard. And I'm sure that you guys agree. Everyone is at the mercy, and maybe mercy is not the right term, but everyone is. Lauren will correct me in a second. Everyone is at the mercy of the person with the most.
You default to the person who is least comfortable.
Yeah, you default to the person who's least comfortable. And Lauren, to no disrespect, has probably been the least comfortable of the two of us for a long time, in terms of, large groups of people, doing anything indoors, anything like that. So Lauren and I together, and Lauren very specifically, we tried out a backyard show at a friend of ours that I've known for over 10 years, Judah and Carla, who live down the street. They have a wonderful backyard. And we tried out one of these backyard shows just to see what it went. Lauren created a map. We literally physically measured their backyard. She created a map on one of her apps on her computer, and people bought 25 tickets, or I think we bought 20 tickets
20.
the first time. We moved it to 25 later, but 20 tickets the first time. and it was wonderful.
It sold out in like 3 hours.
It sold out in like 3 hours. People really wanted to go. And smash cut to yesterday. I think yesterday, I don't specifically know. You might have a better idea, but between the public ones and the private ones, we've probably done over 20.
Yeah, I think it's closer to 25.
Every public one that we've done has sold out.
Well, and when we say public,
Meaning people, the ones you could buy tickets to, because we've also been hired to do personal ones for people in people's backyards where they bring their friends or their family, something like that. Like we did one on me and Mike, my upright bassist. We did one on Friday. I think that that's the way to go. I think that if you're a big famous musician in a big arena, theater, stadium band, you're probably not going to play live again for well over a year, if not two. I think that unfortunately for them, but fortunately maybe for all of us on this call right now, this is the time for the local to regional act. You know, we're getting opportunities that normally would not be given to us. Like for example, Lauren and I did an interview for Voice of America.
we did a performance for them.
We did a performance and interview for Voice of America on their TV show, which we did just like we're doing now on Zoom, and we recorded it on our side and sent it over to them, and then they created the TV show for it. That's not something we would have normally gotten had it been for this. You know, and the articles that we've gotten, literally, when we started doing our Facebook Live, Reuters heard about it, because I have a friend that works for Reuters, and he saw me posting about it. He's like, I pitched you guys to my editor, and he likes the idea. Can I come over and shoot your... It was only our second show. He just saw our first one.
We didn't even have a second show planned. He's like, when's your next one? We're like,
oh, that's right. That's right. That's actually how we got Thursday and Sunday.
Yeah.
We did it randomly on a Thursday, and then we're like, oh, yeah, we have to find another date. How about we do Sunday and invite Kevin? Kevin came over, and about a month later, CNN messaged me on Facebook. And same deal, except for I did not know this guy. So this was very organic. And he was like, I heard about you guys.
We're looking for different stories.
We're looking for different stories, positive stories. And so we had CNN and Reuters both came in our apartment. The Reuters article got us on Al Jazeera, which I never thought in my wildest dreams that we'd ever be on Al Jazeera.
And this is our claim to fame with my parents. We are in a 5 to 10 second clip on PBS NewsHour.
Excellent.
Yeah.
My dad was like, yeah!
we were visual proof of people doing
We were
Facebook
great
Live stuff.
stock footage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, my friend was on a webinar for virtual meetings, and someone had used a stock image from the Reuters interview in their slides.
We have two different types of these kind of guerrilla style shows that we've been doing. We've been doing these secret backyard shows in people's homes, but we've also outside of their homes and their backyards. But we've also been doing Common Good on the Block, which is a benefit show with the full band on a secret street, and that's actually what we did last night. Last night was our third one, which also has sold out all 3 times. 50 people. We have a huge alley behind a brewery that we have a partnership with. And Lauren and I, we went back there physically. We actually spent hours figuring this out. We went back there physically with tape and with chalk and cones, and we figured out a way to position 50 different groups of people. So it's 50 people, but it might be a group of 4 and a group of 3, and they all live in the same home. So, you know, if it's 50 people, it might be 25 spots. And we figured that out. We rented a stage. The stage was delivered to us, but we had to put it together, which we are actually fairly good at putting together stages now, professional stages.
We're a one-stop shop now.
And
what do you need? We got you.
And this is
resourceful.
These particular shows are benefit shows for the Arlington Food Assistance Center, which is the food bank here in Arlington.
So we do a food drive, and then there's a financial donation component to it.
Yeah, and that means a lot to us. The first time that Lauren went over there to drop off food, Lauren told me about how there was literally a line around the building for people to get food, especially during this time. So that her car is full of cans and dry goods right now from last night.
It's cold outside, so the food will not spoil.
It's tough times. So do you think you could sing on a final note a song that is there something that's sort of uplifting, something to let people feel good about?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd rather you make me cry again. Thank you.
Well, how about Happy Tears?
We do have a song. If I don't know how much more time you have, we did
Sure.
write a song that called "Back of the Line," which is the only song that I've written during this entire time. You were talking about my writing process. My writing process is I've just been writing when I feel like I need to write a song since I was 13. So I don't write every day. You know, I'm sure that you have friends that every day they get up and they write before lunch as a exercise. I've never been that way, but I've always consistently written songs over the years for 20 plus years. And during this particular time that we're in, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like this was a particularly such a depressing and such a confusing time that I wasn't very inspired to write. You know,
I know. And other songwriters on this show have said the exact same thing.
Right?
There was like a vacuum for creativity for the first couple months.
We were creative
Yeah,
in different ways. We went into like recovery mode, and we started doing the Facebook Live stuff, and we made signs, and we made new merch items, and we devised the backyard
And
shows and
Patreon.
Patreon and stuff like that. But in terms of the creative side of songwriting, this particular song that we'll play right now is the only song that kind of came out of that, and we got a lot of press. It was actually, to be totally honest, this was the first time I ever hired a publicist. I hired a publicist. I'm sure that you guys have considered that before. It's an expensive endeavor. There are things with, you know, you get a manager as an artist. You get a manager. The manager makes 10 to 20% of whatever you make. You know, if you make zero, they make zero. If you get an agent, your agent makes 10 to 20% of whatever they make that night. You get a publicist, you pay that publicist thousands of dollars to hopefully do something. But we thought that, you know, with the little bit of luck that we'd had and what I thought was a fairly good song, we'd try getting a publicist. And the publicist really helped us a lot. We got this song premiered on Parade magazine, and I was written about an American songwriter and Americana Highways, and we got that Voice of America interview. It was really, really cool, and it was a you know, again, if we could go back and create a time machine and make this all never happen, I'd be more than willing to do that.
You'd be willing to let this song go?
Sure, I would. But with that said, like, this has been an amazing exercise for, I'm sure, people in their personal lives and business all over the world to figure out how to pivot their life and make it successful to some degree, you know? Diana is like, oh my God, Justin is just going to talk forever.
All you have to do is go like this, and I'll land that plane for you. I'm going to take this out.
This could be all just a dream, and I could open my eyes and everything would seem back as it was, back as it used to be. I want to tell you the truth, and I have never been more afraid to lose the people I know and the things we used to do. Running backwards, fading fast, back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. Leaning into wind that's blowing me back of the line. Back of the line, back of the line again. Dreams from an ordinary day never been as vivid as today. I can remember every single thing. I want to feel the sun, and I want to reach out my arms and simply touch someone, but I'd just settle for their face. Running backwards, fading fast, back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. Leaning into wind that's blowing me back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. Running backwards, fading fast, back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. Leaning into wind that's blowing me back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. So at the end of last year, I was recording, and it's a recording that hasn't come out. By the way, my headphones are not in my ears, so I can't hear you. I'm just going to tell you about this. I have a recording that has not come out because it's entirely done, and it would have come out actually in April, but of course I didn't have it come out because of all this. But back in November when we were recording it, I was singing a song over and over again, tracking, just like you've done many times, of course. And I got a little too into it. I got a little too excited about the song, just doing it over and over again. And I actually blew a blood vessel in my vocal cords. And that proceeded to have caused, some difficulty for me over the next several months, and even a little bit into now. When I wrote this song back in May, James, the actual guy that logged in here a little bit ago, was like, Justin, I can really hear you like belting that song out. But at the time, I really couldn't. So when we recorded this song distantly at Mixtape Studios in Alexandria, we ended the song there. And it's only been until a little bit recently that we could actually finish the song the way that James suggested and the way that it really should be, which is a little bit more energetic and a little bit more emotional. And so we'll do that now. We'll do that now because I think we can. Right, Lauren? Can we do this?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, running backwards, fading fast, back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. Leaning into wind that's blowing me back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. Running backwards, fading fast, back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. Leaning into wind that's blowing me back of the line, back of the line, back of the line again. I want to tell you the truth, and I've never been more afraid to lose the people I know and the things we used to do. Diana, how are you doing?
Great.
I want to give her a hug.
Very touching.
In
Nice.
like 2 years, Diana, we're going to give you a hug, all right?
Okay, that's
Or
a
we're
deal.
gonna get those inflatable T-Rex suits so we can hug.
In the meantime, I have the parrot saying, "What is your problem?"
Get it together.
No, great song and great harmonies. Really nice.
When-
Yeah.
So just so you understand, before the pandemic, Lauren was not in the band, was not a regular Facebook Live twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week person with me. She would come on stage and rap once or twice and sing once or twice in a song. And she is and she kind of got, drafted into doing all this stuff on March 12th. And Lauren became a legit singer. Lauren is quite good now. Not that she wasn't good before,
yeah.
but she is really good now.
Awesome
Thanks,
voice.
Yeah.
And Lauren, I love your hat.
Thank you.
My girlfriend makes those. She's a burlesque dancer,
Ooh.
Casablanca.
Like,
She didn't happen to make that one, right?
no, honestly, I got this at Forever 21.
Okay.
But I'm happy to support local artists. I just
Yes,
found it and I was like, that's cute. I want that.
Fredericksburg, Casablanca. Yeah. So,
And
Jason-
tell us about Patreon before
Oh, yeah.
we wrap things up.
Do you guys use Patreon?
we don't.
Well, I have some friends who use it.
Patreon is really great. I have, as Lauren knows, I considered using Patreon for years, but I never really had a good idea of how to go about it. The pandemic caused a lot of people, obviously, to be out of money, and Patreon enabled me to have a way to create an account and create this membership with people, and have there be a little bit more of a reason of why to join rather than just to join in a normal world.
Mm-hmm.
People have now joined because they know that I've got to pay my rent, and I've got to pay my health insurance. Health insurance is expensive. Health insurance for me is over $400 a month, and
Well, not just that. You're providing new access and value. Like Justin has
yeah.
a decade plus of recordings that he has never released. And so this is a way of, like, when we first started.
Well, that's true. I mean, yeah, they get things back for
Definitely. So it's not just about, like,
Right.
Justin's not working as much. But there are 3 tiers of value. So we handwrite notes. We have pictures that we send to people. People can request cover songs and videos from us at a certain tier.
Hand me that big envelope right there.
The returns one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they get like special cover songs that we put together and
So,
things like that.
I won't stop shaking this because this has an actual address on it.
Okay.
But
We have ways we can find out who that's addressed to.
this is to my friend Kate Jones, who is a Patreon subscriber, and this is so I'm sure that you guys know. You don't really see it much anymore in modern bands because everything's moved online, but as you guys have probably been in the Birchmere hundreds of times, the Birchmere has like an entire hallway of promo photos, right? And and Lauren really wasn't, before Lauren and I met, she really was not in the music scene at all, didn't know music stuff at all, so she didn't really know about like the black and white promo photo like I'm sure that you guys know. So I showed her a bunch that I have from when I worked in the radio station. And I was like, is there a way that you can design this to make it look like an old-fashioned promo photo that you would normally get in a press kit? And so in here is a picture of Lauren and I, and at the bottom it says the Justin and Lauren Show. On the side it says who the photographer was, and we signed them and we mailed them to 50 people just this past week of the top 2 tiers of people that were on our Patreon, and people have been sending me text messages and Facebook messages for the entire last week going, I got my picture, it's awesome, we're going to frame
Is it in there? Can you pull it out and show it to
No,
us?
because we have to mail this again.
We actually
it got kicked back
we had
somehow.
exactly the right amount, and well, I'm going to have to redo this.
Steam
anyway.
it opens, glue it
Yeah,
back.
where are the other ones? With the,
Here, well,
how about the other
Steam
one?
it
I'll grab
open.
the other one.
Where's the secretary?
We have another one we have another picture. So we're not going to show you that picture, but we have a picture. This is not of the 2 of us. This is of the entire band when we played at the 930 Club last year. So like that's
nice.
That's the full band, and Lauren's in
That's
there too.
me. I'm looking super snarky.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys remember these, right? You know.
That's awesome.
Yes.
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 So we didn't ask Lauren the most important question of the day.
Oh, okay. We
Candy
know her
corn.
answer though.
Oh, I did. I
know
hollered
her.
it from the other room.
Right.
That's a big ol' hell no for me. Oh,
No candy corn.
Lauren,
Ugh.
I feel the same way about Peeps.
Wait, why are you showing us?
Yeah, I don't like Peeps, but I give them to people up for Easter. Maybe it's passive aggressive
Did you put
thing.
candy corn in the bottom of your orange juice?
yeah,
Yes.
I told you.
Lennon's teeth.
Happening. Yeah, I don't like super sugary things. I used to be a sugar addict as a kid. Like legit would steal the table sugar like from the package and
Aw.
dump it in my like bad problems. And for school lunches, I would get the Tasty Cakes cookie like chocolate chip cookie bar. I was not well supervised as a child. And I would get 3 for $1, and I would pocket the other $2. So like I literally existed on sugar until I was about 19, and I went on Atkins. I wasn't overweight, but it was just like the only thing I could think of to abruptly stop sugar. And so now I don't have a sweet tooth.
Well, truth be told, I hate these things. The chocolate ones are almost bearable.
She said, "Tooth be told."
Truth be told.
Every year, my husband puts these in his mouth like Dracula. And how old is he now? I mean, seriously.
He's 78 now. He could use he needs the extra teeth. Sorry. It's just his birthday the other day, wasn't it?
That's right, it was. Actually, it's your nephew's birthday today, Benny.
I know. Happy birthday,
Yeah,
Benny.
happy birthday, Benny.
Benny and the Jet.
So how long have you ladies been doing this program that you do now?
We
Gosh,
started.
it's 3 months now.
Yeah, and it's weekly, right?
It is, and we don't know how long we'll be doing. It's sort of like a pandemic response. We have
know
to
exactly
do
what
something.
that feels like.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk to our friends, and we wanted to listen to good music and like this.
And
How
meet
long has
new
it been
friends too.
How long
Because
has
we're
it been-
lonely.
How long has it been since you've? I mean, obviously, in a normal world, you perform together all the time. How long has it been since you've actually seen each other in person?
Well, I went up to Maine. We socially
Maine.
distanced before we got together. She has a place up in Maine, so we hung out this summer for a few weeks. So that was really good.
That's
Yeah,
really
we
nice.
did some shows. That was fun.
Yeah.
Zoom
We did-
shows or Facebook shows, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
do you think that, for example, like when this is all over, I do think in some capacity we will continue to do streaming shows because of what I told you earlier. Like you're getting a new audience, and you're also I'm able to get my personality across a little bit better than just people listening to me on recordings. Do you guys think that you will continue to do something like this, even if it's changed or not nearly
I
as
think
often?
so. I think after, figuring out how everything works, we might as well keep doing it. And, I'm getting more interested. I know we got to go soon, but there's Zoom and there's StreamYard, and we've been told that StreamYard has some benefits that Zoom does not.
Mhm.
So we're going to try some different things. So I think just having those skills is a good thing.
That's good.
Absolutely.
COVID or no COVID.
So what are
So-
you going to do for Halloween?
That was my question before we ended. Wow, he's way ahead of us.
Too
Um,
smart.
This guy.
I told you I'm going to be licking these and handing them out to children.
Yeah.
How about you, Diana?
I'm going back to the cemetery to hang out.
Yeah.
She actually just played in a cemetery.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Can
it
we
was
go do
fun.
that?
So how about the two of you?
We have 2 Halloween themed shows. So we are doing one on the 30th. Justin and I have purchased costumes that are very on
You
brand.
want to show them real quick?
No,
Yeah.
because we have people who might be coming.
Okay.
It is a
Okay.
secret. We will
right.
tell you offline what they are, but we
Okay.
went and we picked them out, and I was like, I'm going as this, and you're going as this, and it's not like any of those scantily clad things because I'm not about to freeze my butt off playing for 2 hours. So we have one that's in a local backyard, and then we're doing a private one on the 31st at someone's home outside. So we will
Awesome.
be getting some extra usage out of our costumes.
And we're hoping that
Excellent.
it's as warm as it was yesterday, and
It's
not
not
as warm
going
as
to
it was
be.
today.
It's going to be like highs of 55. But
Well, thanks so much, really, Justin. Where can people find you? And is there anything that people can come see in the future that you can announce or not
Yeah,
at this
so,
point?
If you go to justintrawick.com, that should link you to everything.
TRAWICK.
TRAWICK, justintrawick.com. If anyone is interested in Patreon, it's patreon.com/justintrawick. It's really, really cool. We actually recorded our entire Common Good on the Block show last night.
It's really good.
And I'm going to put that up for
Oh,
Patreon
cool.
subscribers.
Great.
It sounded great. We used this mic. I have an Apogee Mic Plus, and we just used this in her iPad to record it. And it's like, you've probably been to like concerts like where there's tapers and they're taping a Fish concert or something. you know, we just basically did that, and it worked out really well. All of our upcoming backyard shows are actually sold out. The rest of them before it gets too cold. If I add any more, I'll post them. I'll post about them on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We have one full band show that's coming up on November the 14th for the second anniversary of Settle Down Easy, which is a bar that's been supporting us a lot during this time. A brewery, and we're doing a free, but you have to get reservations. A free concert with the whole band at 1 p.m. November 14th in Falls Church behind their establishment. It's called Settle Down Easy. So we're telling people about it now. They can only put 50 people back in there. So if you guys want to come, if you're in town, I hope that you guys might come.
That would be
right.
great.
Excellent. Thanks so much. I'm going to go ahead and sign us off, but if you could just stay on for a bit with us. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye, everybody.
so much.
Bye, everyone.
Share this. We'll see you later.